Welcome to the latest Trainers Talk. My name is Donavan Almond. I hope you were able to watch our special Mother's Day episode last week or so. Today we're focused on getting you ready for summer. There's a lot of things that you want to think about when you're getting into the summer time, and people kind of sometimes lose their mind knowing that they're going on vacation, they're wearing less clothes, the arms are coming out, the legs are coming out, and they get motivated to try to make those changes. And what is the best strategy to truly have you looking great during the summer? The most important thing is to think about this long term. Sometimes people get very fixed in on what they can do in the next 2 weeks, which is important to do, but having a longer strategy will really help you get prepared for each season. So one of the tricks I like to do when I'm working with clients is to have a seasonal aspect of your training. For example, for me, when I'm doing training throughout the year, when I go into post harvest, the weather shifts, the time shifts, and the idea of more comfort food kind of comes into play. So I focus on weight training heavy, putting on muscle. My weight will go up a little bit, but I also will put on a lot of muscle during the winter, with the goal as we roll into spring is right now I'm focusing on shredding a little bit. So what we're going to be doing is when you start to get to this point right here, you want to be thinking of high volume. You want to be thinking of a little bit more cardio. You want to be thinking of adding your nutrition and shifting it to lighter foods, which is easier to do, especially in California. So focus on taking your diet by adding in fiber, high fiber carbs, and you want to always maintain a lot of protein. So this is how you're going to do it. We're going to talk about different strategies that are out there, the crash diets. What is the negative thing that happens when you go, I'm going to only eat 500 calories a day? I'm just tell you what your future will be. If you start off and if you go for a crash diet kind of standpoint, you're trying in 3 weeks, trying to lose 10 pounds, and you drop down to 500 calories, you might be able to lose the weight, but you will also lose the muscle. And muscle is the number one thing you need to have to really improve your overall kind of way you move, but also your metabolism. And as soon as you go on that vacation that you've been crash dying for, and you start having some of that food that has more carbs to it, you will feel like you're going to balloon up. And it's all because you've killed your engine, and the muscle is the engine. So it's very important to think about long term, how do you get there? And what is the most effective way to lose weight in a quick amount of time? So these are a couple of strategies for that. If I had a client that they are going on a trip, they have a wedding coming up, they're coming to me a little bit later in the process, and I only have 2 or 3 weeks with them, the things I'm going to have them focus on right away is I'm going to up their intake of water consumption, because that's going to help with cleaning out the system, being good for their skin. The other thing I'm going to have them do is I'm going to have them start to focus on doing something daily, adding walking in, and then I'm going to start to have them do lighter weights, but a lot of volume. And when I say lighter weights, not super light weights, but like medium level weights where you're doing something in that 15 to 25 rep range. You're doing that 2 to 3 times a week, but then you're doing a lot of movement, a lot of water, a lot of cardio, and trying to get about 2 hours of exercise a day and as much movement throughout the day. And that's going to help you really drop those lbs, along with having your calories be, if you're under 150 pounds, be around 1,200 to 1,500 calories, and if you're above 150 to like 250, you're kind of around 2,000 calories. High on the high fiber carbs, good on the protein, a lot of water. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about supplements. I have some questions that have come through from clients and trainers, and I'm going to kind of read some of them off and give you the advice that I often have found, or things I found interesting out there that I've been working on. So one of the questions is supplements are a big topic right now. What are people most commonly asking about for energy, recovery, fat loss, and muscle building? I think it depends on what age group you're talking about. I'm going to start selfishly in the 40 to 60 range. Um, the thing that becomes important for really just enhancing your feeling of health, I think in this age range, 40 to 60, is reducing inflammation. It becomes the kind of number one thing for usually most clients in this age range, because they still have capability. There's still muscle there. Their metabolism still hasn't gone completely to crap yet, but they oftentimes might wake up in the morning a little stiff, a little sore in the shoulders and the back and the knees. And being able to mitigate inflammation is a key thing. And the supplements that I like to do that will help with inflammation reduction is omega-3s, is amazing with that. Curcumin is another supplement that's really good with inflammation. Glutathione is one that I'm kind of becoming one of my favorites recently. It helps. It's a master antioxidant, and it helps with your skin. It helps with detoxifying your liver, and it helps with most of the cells in your body. So those three ones I will focus on, along with drinking plenty of water. There's also one that's kind of interesting. I think it makes a difference. I don't know if it's a little frou-frou. Is the hydrogen water. I'm using like little tablets to do that. I do notice that when I do that, it really helps that feeling of less stiffness in the joints. The only thing I'm not sure of is that because I'm consuming more water, or is the hydrogen itself. The research out there is very positive that it helps as an antioxidant. And at the end of the day, if I feel good, I'm going to continue to use it. Next question is, which supplements do you think are actually worth adding alongside good training and nutrition? Well, obviously, good nutrition is the number one thing. I think the classics are vitamin D, omega-3. What other ones? Creatine is obviously a big one right now. Those are all kind of great ones. Like I said, I really am loving glutathione right now. So that's probably my hot one right now. And the focus is doing it consistently, and then being able to, depending on whatever your issue is important. Another thing that I like to do is I'll take some probiotics, because I feel like if you're going to be eating better, your nutrition is so important when it comes to the training and what results you get. So if you can focus on having good absorption rates in your stomach, if your stomach is inflamed, and that's why I come back to inflammation, if your stomach's inflamed, then your ability to absorb the good nutrients and all this great food that we have here in Northern California kind of goes to waste. So addressing that, using probiotics, using different things that reduce that inflammation, increases your absorption rate and reduces the amount of food you actually have to consume. Next question. Are there any supplements people tend to rely on too heavily instead of focusing on the basics first? Yeah, I kind of have two here. One is kind of not technically maybe a supplement, and one is. Uh, I feel like melatonin, people will sometimes use that a little too often, because there is, when sleep is, I would say it kind of goes sleep, hydration, exercise, nutrition, in that order, in terms of what affects your longevity, what affects your health. And if that's the only way you can fall asleep, use melatonin. But if you're not thinking long term, and your body will adjust that melatonin, and then you'll eventually have to try something that's even stronger. So using different practices to work on your sleep, dark room, cool temperatures, going to bed at the same time every night, not using your phone right before you go to bed, all those things, and building up those practices, I think you're going to have better effects. Obviously, if you're traveling somewhere and you're in a different time zone, that's where I think melatonin is like a really good use case to kind of get you on a different time zone and get you readjusted. The other one that I feel like people heavily use a little too much and without focusing on the basics is GLP-1s. Now, I think GLP-1s are a great tool, and with the right advice from your doctor and your goals, use it because it has some great results in what it does for your blood sugar levels, and also helping you potentially lose weight. The thing that it doesn't, it gives you an obvious sense of false discipline. And what I've seen sometimes with clients and people who are on it for a long period of time, they first reserve those cravings, and they're not eating as many sweets, they're not drinking as much, they're more mindful of that. But eventually, in the deep subconscious, they start to go back to those things, and you never really gain the discipline that is needed to really maintain a healthy outlook on weight loss management and also the nutrients you need to be strong. So understand that it's a tool. It doesn't replace all aspects of being healthy. And the thing that's interesting when I kind of go through all this information, like I said, there's a lot of data that is available to us. We have this partnership with 100 Health, which allows you to get the over 100 biomarkers, and it helps guide us into what supplementation is necessary for that fits best for your body and for your goals. Everybody's talking about AI and the what AI can do for you. And what it's done for us is giving us opportunity to take all this data that you're getting from wearables, from blood work, from training, the different markers that we get when we work with a client in their physical assessment. And we can take this data and we can synthesize it into a way that helps develop a path and a protocol. And that is what a personal trainer with one of our team members does. We have access to these different tools to be able to give you all this data and to filter it into a simple plan of what to do each day, what kind of training you should be doing, what kind of food you should be eating, what kind of supplements you should be having. And we can be even more precise for what a couple walks in, what we give to the husband, what we give to the wife, is very specific. And we can even play around with it where, if the wife and husband have dinners together, we can even program their meal plans and take their two entities and make a combined meal plan for the meals they have together. So that is the advantage of having a trainer who can guide you through this process, because if not, you're oftentimes guessing, and you're not taking into all the factors in the history of what really makes things successful. How do you really get to a successful point in achieving the goal? And oftentimes a personal trainer can get you there. If you're looking for really good supplements, we offer that. So you can reach out to us. We also have this on the website in the bio, and you can check that out. There's a 20% discount for any of our people who are following us or our members. And if you ever have any questions about supplementation, you can reach out to me or our team. We'll be happy to help. I want to thank you for joining me today. Make sure you subscribe and look forward to the next one.